A five-star wide receiver from the state of Texas. You would think a Texas lock, right? Not so fast. Khalid Lockett is an elite wide receiver out of Saxe, Texas. A top 11 player in the entire country, according to 247 Sports. He's one of my favorite recruits in the entire class, and he may even be my favorite receiver. He comes in at 6'2", 175 pounds, so definitely your stereotypical wide receiver build. He also possesses big hands and a 6'7" wingspan, which is pretty crazy, but points to his physical gifts and body control, definitely being able to use his size. All great attributes for a top wide receiver. Now, the elephant in the room here, you guys may have already written him off after hearing he's from the state of Texas, and I get it. It definitely seems that Texas, Mississippi, and Alabama kids in particular all stay home, or at the very least are some very difficult pulls. But I wouldn't discount Florida State at all in this one just yet. Now, Khalid first visited Florida State back in March and absolutely raved about it in his post-visit interview. He called it the best visit he had ever been on and has continued to hype up Florida State in his visits ever since. Now, they also got him back on campus last weekend for an official visit, and that one also went very well. He said it just feels different when he's at Florida State. He got to spend a lot of time with the other receivers that Florida State already has. A lot of those kids come from out of state as well, with guys like Malik Benson, who's from Kansas, then went to Alabama before transferring to Florida State. Jalen Brown, who's a Florida kid, spent a year at LSU. Both Alabama and LSU are some of Lockett's top schools, so having a connection there with guys who have been to both and can explain why they came to Florida State and hopefully convince Lockett to do the same thing. It also helps that Mike Norvell not only played wide receiver in his college days, but he's also from the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas. So that's just another connection and recruiting pitch that Mike can make to a Texas kid. He's come out and said that while he's open to leaving the state of Texas, it's going to be a hard decision for him to make. But that Mike Norvell and Ron Dugans are making it incredibly hard to say no to FSU. Now, again, he had his OV to Florida State last weekend. I believe he was at Alabama earlier this week and will have his last official visit to Texas this weekend. Now, of course, I don't love the Longhorns getting to make the last impression here, but it's pretty typical for the in-state school to get the last OV, and he said that after that, he will be narrowing his list down to 3 or 4 schools and will be setting a commitment date. He's confident that Florida State will be in that top group of schools. Now, there's other schools involved with them like LSU, Alabama, Texas A&M, but honestly, I think this is a straight-up Texas versus Florida State battle. And again, I wouldn't just count out Florida State here. I think if he does end up leaving the state, which, again, he said he's open to doing, I think Florida State is the choice, and I feel pretty confident in that. Now, the other side of this is that Texas also has crystal ball predictions in for Decorian Moore, who's the #1 wide receiver in the entire country. They're also very involved, and I think may even be trending for another 5-star receiver in J.B. French. Now, 5-stars want to play. They're not typically too interested in battling multiple other 5-stars to see the field, so I just can't see them landing all 3 of those guys, which may leave the door a little more open for Lockett to Florida State. I think we'll really just have to see what the buzz is like after his visit to Texas and, of course, wait for his top 3 and commitment date. But I just don't consider this one anywhere near as much of a long shot as some might think. Regardless, I expect Florida State to get him back on campus at least once or twice in season for a game, and they'll definitely keep trying to chip away at him and recruit him. If they can get it done and pull a top recruit like this from the state of Texas, it'll definitely be one of the bigger stories in the whole cycle and will be an absolutely massive pull for this staff. It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out, but we'll definitely keep you guys updated, so make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel to keep up with this recruitment and all of Florida State's other major recruiting targets. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Go Noles.